Hey, what's going on, guys? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the AtGames Legends Gamer Pro. Now, on paper, this thing looks like an awesome little unit. And if you've been eyeballing the full-size Legends Ultimate Arcade but thought it was a little too expensive, this actually might be for you. Because this is coming in at $199 if you pick it up from Sam's. I think the price will go up when it goes to other stores. But overall, with that $200 price tag, I really do think that this is worth it. Now, I'm a big fan of the Legends Ultimate Arcade. I've done a few videos on it. And this is basically the same thing minus the arcade cabinet, screen, and the spinner. But we still have that trackball. We have 8 buttons for each player. Dual joysticks. We have our home button, rewind, player 1, player 2, and our power button. And I'd say one of the best things about this whole unit is it's actually wireless. It connects to what they're calling the streaming arcade console, which is a hockey puck style, HDMI, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi enabled device here, and all the heavy lifting is done by the arcade console itself. So this plugs into your display, and you can use the control deck here wirelessly with the unit. I've been messing around with the Legends Gamer Pro for a few days, and I'm really impressed on how it performs, especially with the built-in games. Now, like I mentioned, you can always add your own games if you'd like to. It also supports the AtGames Arcade Net, and it has the streaming feature built in, just like the Legends Ultimate Arcade system does, so you can stream games from your local PC. So I do plan on making a few videos on this because there's a load of features built in, but in this video I want to take a look at it right out of the box. I've also added some of the free pinball games that they offer on their website with the Add-on X tool, and we have buttons on each side for a pinball layout. So along with the arcade control deck, which is wireless and battery operated and can be recharged from a 5-volt USB source, you'll also get a male-to-male USB cable, HDMI cable, and the power supply for the streaming console. So initial setup was super easy. I just plugged in my HDMI to my display, and I'm just using a monitor for this video, but this is actually going to be downstairs with my big screen. We're going to go ahead and power up the puck. It does have a little LED accent ring all the way around, and it looks pretty cool. So this is the initial setup. The unit's going to boot up, and it's going to ask me to pair the control deck to it. Now this will also work with wireless controllers like the Xbox One controller or USB controllers if you really want to play it that way. But I definitely want to connect this control deck, and it's pretty easy to do. So once the unit is booted up, I have no way to control it because the control deck is not paired to it. I mean, you could plug it in with that male-to-male USB cable if you want to, but I'm going to connect it wirelessly. So I'll turn the power on. We have a little battery indicator and a connection indicator. I'm going to hold the home button here for about 5 seconds. Now we're in pairing mode. I'm going to move back over to the puck, and there's a single button on here. We're just going to press it one time. Now it's going to scan for devices to connect. And I'm going to find my Player 1 control deck. A single press of the built-in button will move you down the list. I'm going to select Player 1. I'm going to hold the button for 3 seconds, and it's going to pair it up. Once that's done, we're going to pair Player 2, same exact way. And we're good to go. We now have the control deck connected to the console, and we have Player 1 and Player 2 functioning independently of each other. So I wanted to show that pairing method off because I thought it was pretty ingenious. Now when I first booted this up, I didn't take a look at the user manual, and I thought I had to plug in something else to get it working. But as you saw here, everything can be done from the control deck and the console itself, which makes it super easy to set up. So now that I got everything set up, let's go ahead and take a look at the interface. Now, like I mentioned, there's 150 games on the Gamer Pro version, and when I initially did the first update, it actually downloaded a game pack. So I'm not sure if there's more games on here or not, but I will leave a link to the games list in the description. There's just way too many to go over. Now, along with the 150 games that are pre-installed, you also can access ArcadeNet. Now, you will have to create an account and be connected online over Wi-Fi or Ethernet. By the way, this does support 5 GHz Wi-Fi, and it's pretty quick. But when it comes down to it, and games on this unit that you don't add yourself, this is actually where the good stuff is. Lots of great Neo Geo stuff like Metal Slug and a bunch of other great games here, and you do stream these over Wi-Fi. Next up, we have the Bring Your Own Game section. And in a later video, I'll show you how to add your own MAME games here. But there's also a section for Coin Ops X, which is going to be a whole nother video in itself. I mean, there's just so much built into this unit, I will have to create several videos to get everything out of the way. We also have local streaming, and one thing that I've added here because I was really interested in it was the free pinball games that they have up on their website. Now, I don't have the USB stick plugged in right now, but they offer an Add-on X tool, which is super easy to use with Windows, and it allows you to transfer those games over to the USB drive and get them set up correctly so you can run them on the Gamer Pro. And from the settings menu, you can connect Wi-Fi. Like I mentioned, it does have AC built in. And one thing that I thought of when I first heard about this unit a couple months ago was, will it work with the Raspberry Pi? And right here in the settings menu, it shows you exactly how to connect it to your Raspberry Pi wirelessly. And when you first get one of these, make sure you connect it to a Wi-Fi source or Ethernet so you can update. You can do it from the settings, or I believe it'll give you a prompt if there's an update available. It'll automatically do it for you and allow you to choose yes or no. As you can see, there's a ridiculous amount of settings in here, and at the end of this video, I'm just going to connect this to my game capture and just kind of scroll through them so you can get a better look at what's included here. So from the All Games menu, if you hit the AtGames button, you can scroll through, add favorites, you can go to recents. We can also go to different categories. So I'm going to check out some arcade games here, and the main reason I wanted to pick one of these up was for retro gaming. So let's go ahead and see how this performs. I'm going to go with Street Hoops here, and it does load up these games pretty quickly. Now the Genesis games that are preloaded do load up quicker than the main games or the arcade games, but overall it's pretty quick to get into some gameplay. As you can see, we do have bezels on each side. This definitely fills out the screen, makes it look a lot better in my opinion. And I've already gone through and tested about 25 games, and everything seems to be working really well. Even though this control deck is connected over Bluetooth, I'm not noticing any latency at all. Now, as the control deck sits right now, it's pretty close to the console, but last night I had this downstairs. I mean, I'm about 10 feet away from the big screen TV, and it was working really well. I just set this on my coffee table, and I loved having this wireless because in the past when I used the Pandora's boxes downstairs, I had the kids tripping over the wires and messing up my HDMI on the TV itself, and this all sits wirelessly, so you can play your favorite games without any wires hanging out all over the living room. We'll go ahead and test another built-in game. I'll go with Earth Defense Force. And when you first start up a game, you're going to see a lot of information about the game itself. It'll give you a controller layout. It'll give you some information at the bottom. We also have those bezels. And if we hit the middle button, the AtGames button right in the middle, it'll bring up the main menu. From here, we can save, load, exit. We can even turn on scan lines. And if you're not into the controller layout built in, you can map the controller per game. But one of my favorite things about this whole unit are the scan lines. They look really great. Personally, I'm into the horizontal scan lines, but they do have an option for vertical, and they do look great for being digital scan lines. Now, they don't come across on camera as well as I'd like, but overall, I think they look great. But while I'm filming the screen here, we're just going to turn them off, give you a little clearer picture, and I'll get into some gameplay with Earth Defense Force. And like you saw, the control deck is a 2-player setup, so if the game supports multiplayer, you can just press start on that side and join right in. So the buttons and sticks here aren't name brand. They're not Sanwa or anything like that. If they're clones, they feel great. I haven't had any trouble with these buttons. They do got a nice little click to them. As you can hear, you're kind of mashing on this thing to get that fire going. And the sticks also feel really great. But in the past, I've really never had issues with clone sticks and buttons. It really comes down to the encoder. And whatever they're using in here, which is definitely going to be a proprietary Bluetooth encoder, works amazingly with the Gamer Pro. So next up, we'll take a look at the ArcadeNet section. And like I mentioned, there's a lot of great games in here. You will need an ArcadeNet account, and it's free to set up. It's in beta right now, but down the road, I believe they're going to be charging for playtime. But to me, that really doesn't take away from this whole unit, because we can add these games and just have them locally off of a USB drive and play them right on the Gamer Pro. So these ArcadeNet games are actually running from their servers, and you can change the quality depending on the internet connection you have. But it really doesn't take much to stream a game like this. This is just Metal Slug. I've got the quality set to auto, but I could go to high. It still looks great here. And gameplay here is just fine. I mean, it plays just like it's here locally. And with this one, there are some different settings. So if you're streaming from ArcadeNet, if you press the AtGames button, at the top you're going to get a little menu. You can change the quality from auto to high or low, depending on your internet connection. And there's a few more settings in here. But in order to exit, you're just going to move all the way over to exit. And I know it's a bit hard to see in this video. It's actually a bit hard to see in real life. but it'll bring you right back into the menu, and you can start playing more ArcadeNet games, or some of the 150 games that are preloaded on the unit right out of the box. So far, after spending a few days with the Legends Gamer Pro, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. From the performance to the build quality, even that $199 price tag when you pick it up from Sam's. Now, like I mentioned, these will be going on sale at other retailers, but I believe the price is going to be around $250 for the Pro model. So if you can scoop it up from Sam's online for $199, I think it's well worth it. I love the fact that they've set this controller up wirelessly. It definitely makes setup a lot easier in the living room, and you won't have any accidents with people tripping over that HDMI or a long power cable. So there's still a lot that I want to cover on this unit, and I will have another video coming up soon. We're going to be testing this with the Raspberry Pi, at least just the control deck connected wirelessly over there. I'm also going to load up a USB drive and test out the bring your own game setup, and we'll even go over some local game streaming, so we can stream PC games to this using the built-in streaming app that they have available. But so far, everything's been working great with the Legends Gamer Pro, and I do have to say, if you are interested in picking up, let's say, the Legends Ultimate full-size cabinet and just couldn't afford it or don't have room in your house, this is definitely an awesome option. But that's pretty much it for this one. Really appreciate you watching. I will have a couple more videos coming up, so if you're interested, definitely stay tuned to the channel. And if there's anything you want to see running on the Legends Gamer Pro, just let me know in the comments below. But like always, thanks for watching.